Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to another tutorial, and today we're making this super cute treat box. I think it's super cute anyway. I was inspired by Angie Kennedy, who is chickenscratch.com. I'll leave a link for her below. She did a cute little box smaller than this one, but she did this little technique at the top, which totally intrigued me, so I wanted to try it. Okay, so let's make this little treat box. It is super easy. We're going to use a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper because I don't want to cut it. That's the whole reason. You're going to need your scoreboard. So I'm going to use my big scoreboard here. So we're going to use a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper. I didn't want to cut it down and I didn't really want to have a lot of waste. So here are your scoring measurements. First, with the paper landscape in your trimmer, you're going to score at 2.5, then at 5, then at 7.5, and then at 10. Now that's going to leave us an inch here, and that's okay. I want a nice thick piece for us to be able to hold the box together. Now we're going to rotate this in the trimmer and put the 8.5 side at the top, and now you're going to score at 2.5 and at 5.5. 5.5, there we go. So that is the basic part of the scoring. Now I decided after making this I wanted to do one more score mark that's going to be kind of weird if you've ever made these boxes before, but in the end it'll make perfect sense. Right here, after you've done your 5.5 score and between the end of the page, I want you to score one more time at 1.5 inches. So you're going to basically split that piece down. Seems kind of weird and out of place if you've ever made these boxes, but it will make sense in a few minutes. All right, so now let's move on to the next step. Now I'm going to use my cutter bee scissors and I'm going to cut into this in a couple of places. The first place is right here at this bottom corner. We don't need that. So I'm going to get rid of that little piece and just go ahead and get it out of our way. And the next spot is going to be this little piece at the top. We don't need it either. It's just going to be in our way if we don't get rid of it. So let's get it out of here. Now I made this box fairly big because I wanted you to be able to put a whole bunch of stuff in it because I think it would be cute for like Valentine's treats. Now the part where you put that extra score line, that's the top of the box, okay? So up here, that's the top. Down here without the score line is the bottom. I'm going to start down here by just slicing up these score lines. Now I know a lot of times I tell you guys that you need to do those little angles to make these close better and things like that. On this particular box, you don't need to make any angled cuts because it's a very square box, and we're going to use that to our advantage to make it a little sturdier. All right, I'm going to flip it around. Now at the top of the box, we're going to slice in just the same. So we'll just slice, just like so, all the way down. One more time. Okay, so I've got all those sliced. Now let's talk about this piece for a minute. We want to take the two pieces, one on the outside and one in. Okay, so these two pieces right here, I know that makes no sense. We don't need this whole long piece. The reason we did that score mark there is so we would know where to trim these shorter. So basically it's every other tab. So we're going to cut this tab. You'll see what I'm doing here. So I cut that first little tab. Then I'm going to skip one and go to the next one and cut it along that score line that we made. It's basically just to get that bulk out of our way because we don't need it. Now the fun part. Now the box that I saw that inspired me, made by Angie, had this cute little tag punch. She had the one from Stampin' Up! That does the tag topper. Well, I don't have that one. So I decided to try to do this with one of my border punches, and I think this works pretty cool. Notice that I have this blue painter's tape around the edges. I did that to help me center the page because the little portion where it punches kind of stops way up high, and without a guide down here I kind of got off. So I'm going to use these edges of the blue tape to let me know where the edge of the punch is. Okay, hope that made sense. Now we're going to punch. So I'm just going to take this little piece and put it into the punch. You hold it where you guys can see it too. And I'm going to center this using the blue tape. So see how I've lined that up to blue tape, and now I'm going to punch and then pull that out. Now see, it left me a little bit, and that's okay because this is a border punch, and we're just going to line it back up and cut those pieces off. So we'll put that inside, and now the tape won't matter because we can just use the actual punch itself you know, use the paper to do it, to finish it off. So we got one side done. Now we'll go do the other side. Just like that. So see now how we have this cute little edge? But I think using this tape makes that a lot easier. So try that. All right, we're going to do the second one just like it. We're going to line it up as good as we can. We're just going to eyeball it between that blue tape and punch. Move it down and finish the little border off. Now I want to show you what I did. I made a mistake. I ripped this too quick and I messed up that one little point. But rather than remake this for the demo, I'm going to leave that in and just let y'all know it's there. When we finish, you won't see it, to be honest with you. Okay, now there's a couple things I want to do before I start folding this box, and that is I want to put some layer pieces. Just like in the sample, see I have these little pieces matted on? I want to do that. Now I want to tell you what sizes of those pieces you're going to need, and we will cut those real quick. Okay guys, so we're going to use one 6 by 6 inch piece of paper to do all the matting for this box. Here are your measurements. You're going to need 4 pieces that measure 2 1/4 by 2 3/4, and you're going to need 2 pieces that measure 2 1/4 by 1 1/2. And you can get that from one 6 by 6 paper with very little waste. All right, let's put these guys to use. So we'll bring our box back over. I want to make sure that I have this facing up. I do. It's facing up here. And so I'm going to glue these pieces down. Now, from experience, I found it is easier to glue these down before you put the box together. I'm going to use some art glitter glue for this because it makes it super fast. And you're going to mat all 4 of the center pieces. You can see where your folds are, your score lines are. You want to go right between those. Another piece down, just like that. Whoops, I twisted it. All right, and we're going to keep going and mat these other 2 also. So there we go. I've got these 4 mats matted down, and now we're going to put these 2 pieces on. Now these are super easy because you're going to remember they go on the tallest flaps that we did with the border punch. So just add some glue to these guys. And they get mounted in this center section because that's actually the top of our little like carton treat box. It reminds me of a milk carton so much. All right. Now we're just going to slide down here and put this little guy on. Just like so. Now that I've got all those there, I'm going to start folding because I wanted to do that before I did this part. So now I'm just going to go through and fold on all of my score lines. Just like this. Let's fold these pieces all up. And then I'm going to fold these guys. I'm going to fold these 2 small ones first. Now I want to talk to you about these flaps. These flaps are going to get folded down and then back up. Okay, so they're going to get a little zigzag fold. That'll make more sense when we finish putting the box together. Okay, now we only need adhesive in one place on this part, so we'll just need it right here for now. And I'm going to use sticky tape for that. You guys know how much I love my sticky tape. So here's some. And if you're looking for this tape, I have some small rolls of it in my store. They're kind of like Try Me rolls. They're really affordable. You guys check those out. I think you'll really like those because you can kind of get a small roll, test it out, see what you think. And if you love it, you can go back and buy the bigger one afterwards. We'll peel this little backer piece off. And we'll be ready to stick this guy together. Now to close the box, I have the adhesive here on this side. So just close one flap down and then bring the other flap over to it and you get a nice even close. I love that. No fighting with that one. Now we can open our box back up and see where we're getting. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. We need to close the bottom. I'm not real concerned about which portion goes where on the bottom as long as it's closed down. That might bother you. You might want to make sure you have the flap in a certain spot based on how the top closes. That doesn't really bother me. All right, so I'm going to put some adhesive on the bottom. Again, I'm using the art glitter glue. I just think it's the quickest and easiest for me. Also, when you use a liquid glue like this, it gives you a second to kind of square the box up. You can kind of mess with it and get it nice and square. All right, this box is big enough you can stick your hand in and press to get that bottom sealed real good. We are on the way, guys. Now we're going to close the 2 short flaps in. They still overlap, so everything you put inside is safe and it's not going to fall out. And now we're going to bring these guys together. Now I'm going to do this to the side. I'm going to bring these two down and let that fold meet. This is where it gives you kind of that milk carton look, and we used our border punch. Now you don't have to use a border punch that looks like this. You could use any kind of border punch, and how cute would this be? I think the trick is using that little tape to line it up. Again, I'm going to put a little bit of art glitter glue, bring these guys down, line up that border punch, and let that seal shut. Now it's time to make some pretties for it. So it's time to make a tag for our little treat box. These two stamp sets are the ones I'm going to use. This one is called Define Emotions. These are found in my stamp store, by the way, and it's linked below. It's maymaymadeit.com. I'm going to use the love definition, and I'm also going to use one that's a Christmas stamp set, but I love the tag that comes in here, and I think this will be super cute for our project. So I've got the tag and the love sentiment here. I'm going to use some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, so I've got that right there, and I'm going to start with this little white page, and I'm going to stamp the tag down. This tag is so versatile in that set. You might think that set is all about Christmas, but this tag can be used for so many things. So there's our little tag. So now we can trim this little guy out. And I'm going to trim it out exact. I'm not going to leave a border because I'm actually going to use that other piece of paper to create a little border around it. So there is that cut out. Now we want to stamp it with the love sentiment in the middle. So I just tested this ahead of time when I was looking through my stamp sets to make sure this would fit inside of our little tag stamp, and it does. So I'm going to stamp that down perfectly. It fits just exactly like I want it to. Now I can close this up. And now I'm going to glue this guy to here, and then we're going to trim him out with that little border edge. So I'm going to use my art glitter glue again. That VersaFine ink really needs to dry for a second. I'm really pushing its boundaries at this point because it will smear if you don't let it dry. Now a tip I have for you. When you're cutting out these little borders like this, one way to get this really easy is to go ahead and glue it into one corner of the page. So now two of our borders are already done, and the others we just have to mimic with our scissors. And there we go. Super duper cute. I love it. Okay, now we need to put some holes in the top of this guy, tie some ribbon, and put our tag on. I want to show you something too. I'm using my Crop-A-Dile, and I'm going to use the larger hole. That's the small hole there, and then it has a larger hole on this side. It has this dial that you can set. So if you're making a bunch of these and you want to make sure you get the holes punched exactly in the same place, you untwist this little piece, move this little ruler into place, lock it back down, and now you set your position where you know your hole is going to be in the same spot every time. Now I'm going to come from the side of our little box and poke a hole on this side. Then I'm just going to flip it around and do the same on the other. So now we've got holes for some ribbon. I'm going to use this ribbon you probably saw in a Christmas haul recently. I bought this for like 70% off right after Christmas. I thought it was super cute and could be used for any time of year. And the kind of rustic foil look just really reminds me of this paper pad. Get it kind of lined up, and then we're just going to tie a bow. So I cut this ribbon a little bit short, and I didn't want to waste it. So what I'm going to do here is just do a little knot and some angled edges here. So this one will have a knot. The other one has a bow, as you can see here. Tie it either way you like. I think it works either way. And the last thing I want to do is add my little tag to the front. And I'm going to put it right here with a little bit of foam tape. I'm going to use my thicker foam tape. I love this stuff. So I'm just going to cut a piece away here. Put this on the back of my little tag. And then stick my little love sentiment down. Super cute. So there you go, guys. It's all complete now. I think it's super cute. I hope you enjoyed this little treat box. I'm anxious to see what you guys do with this little design. If you recreate this, please share it with us over on my Facebook group, which is called Maymay Made It, and so did I. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Talk to you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.